Hello guys, welcome back. In today's video we're gonna talk about the Psychube amplification. It's a little more complicated of a topic, but and also the answer of this video is not gonna be final. Whatever I think is not gonna be final. Whatever I say that it's global or stuff like that, it's not gonna be determined by what I say. It's a little bit of like a foundation. See it as a foundation. After I give you the stats, after I give you the foundation, you will be able to then apply it to your account, because your account is going to have different characters. You're going to have different priorities. You're going to have different characters that you like, or different characters that you're going to pull for. Maybe you're not pulling for Changeling, right? If you're not pulling for Changeling, then you don't need Blasphemer of the Night. Then has no value to you. Or vice versa, if you're gonna main Changeling, then Blasphemer of the Night is a crazy choice for you. You want to buy it right now and amplify it, right? Now, so this video is gonna be a little more complicated, a little more nuanced, because I need to make it so it's a little more global and taking into account everything. First of all, let's talk about the fact that if you bought the battle pass at this point, you probably got your first Gluttony, right? Now, for a free-to-play, this is not an option, because you're not going to get a Gluttony for free from the Battle Pass. But keep in mind that if you do buy the Battle Pass, in 30 days, more or less, you will be able to get your first Gluttony. Now, the Battle Pass, I think, lasts for like 42 days-ish, which is the length of the patch. But in this case, you can probably easily clear it if you do the weekly cap XP every week. You cap it, you will be able to clear it way earlier than normal, as if you like didn't do it every week, right? So this is one Gluttony per month. And on the if you go check on the fragment shop here, now this is one of the step one. First of all, how many Psychube can we get? We're probably gonna get a lot of Psychube first, right? You can get almost 2 Psychube per month. It's like 42 days for 2 Psychubes. So because we get 10 every day. So by doing by just playing PA7, if you do PA7, I think PA6 also gives you 10. So it doesn't matter if you can't clear PA7. I think go check it. You will be able to buy every Psychube. So you will have one copy, if not two sometimes, of one Psychube. For example, if you got the Psychube for free from the selector or from day 5 of logging in, you will get a copy of one of these, depending on which one you got from the selector. So you're gonna have a free amplification on one. So keep that in mind. One is gonna be free, basically it's free, or like easier to get, because it's going to be cheaper for one amplification. The others, though, if you buy them for the first time, they're going to be discounted first, and then they're going to go back to the actual price, which is 300. At this point, is it worth getting the copy of the Psychube, or we should just get Gluttony? I feel like we should just get Gluttony and get it to 2 Gluttony per month. We can't, because if you don't do more than the 2 free runs, you only get 1 Gluttony per month. So it's gonna get 4 months if you don't buy the battle pass to max out a Psychube, to max out the amplification of Psychube, and 2 months if you buy the battle pass, because you're gonna get 1 Gluttony from here and 1 Gluttony from the battle pass for level 50. Now let's get to the Excel sheet. Wow. Now this is not perfect math. This is not any math. This is not, even if it's wrong, I don't really care. We're not looking at the numbers too much. This is just me copying the numbers that are on Pridwen, right? So that's what I copied. I didn't do any math. So by having them like this is a more palatable presentation of the stats side by side, and have a better understanding how much is the increment per amplification. And then I color coded the Psychubes to make it so it's a DPS, hybrid, or a healer oriented Psychube. The only healing oriented Psychubes are the, one second, CAA is calling. Hello? Yeah, I'm gonna tell him that Blasphemer is for Changeling mainly, and Beyond Wonderland is for, yeah, I know, Tooth Fairy, yes, yeah, shut up now. Jesus. Now, Sorry for the interruption, Mr. Ladies and gentlemen. Now, going back, Blasphemer, or something like that. Blasphemer is a DPS, Psychube. Brave New World is a DPS. Hopscotch, Luxurious Leisure, and Thunderous are DPS oriented because they give you a DPS effect. Second Life and Bounden Duty, they give you base bonus, which is a DPS oriented, but the effect is healing, or healing when muscled, or healing when you kill, right? So keep that. That's why they're yellow on the color coding here. On the prioritization here, as you can see, the green one is the higher priority, the higher value that you get from your gluttony, and the yellow one is like, it's good. It's like, but maybe not top priority. And the orange one is not dog shit. It just means that it's very situational or low priority. For example, the ones that are orange but they have like a name on, it means that like they're low priority if you don't have the characters. They're like low priority or just bad if you don't have the intended characters. So Blasphemer, for example, is Changeling's favorite. So with Changeling, you can easily trigger Blasphemer. And if you have Changeling, this is not orange anymore. This is top priority if you have Changeling. If you plan to get Changeling or maining Changeling, because this one gives you a lot. The increment is not too high. It's 3% per amplification, but you're getting a damage up. So it's a global multiplier. While the others, some of the others give you just attack. Which is not influence, it just increases your basic stat of the attack, which is fine. But like damage up is, I think damage up is better than attack, but don't hold it to me because I'm not a theory crafter. I think damage is better than attack because damage also influences multiple factors, while attack is just attack, right? Now, the percentage is like 2%. It gives you Incantation Might, and this is perfect for Changeling because Changeling has a card. One of her stronger skill is actually an incantation instead of the ultimate. Like the incantation called, she has a spell called White Carpet, I believe. That it can reach such a high percentage that it can reach a point where it's stronger than some characters' ult, right? I think it can reach like 600% by herself just by having poison on, because you get more percentage the more poison stacks you have, and the base percentage is just really high. I think level 3 potency is like 450 with 100% increase if you have one stack of poison, and then the subsequent stacks gives you plus 50, something like that. So it's like insane, and you can get up to 3 stacks of poisons, and that's like 650 damage, I think, from one skill. So keep that in mind. Blasphemer will further increase the damage that she deals. So this is a very good choice if you plan on getting Changeling. Beyond Wonderland is a really good choice if you plan of using Tooth Fairy. Otherwise, it's a little shush. It's a little sussy because it gives you crit rate. The healing rate doesn't scale. The healing rate stays at 3, so it's more of critting with your heals. And the only character that specifically says that it crits with the heals is Tooth Fairy, because the others don't. Okay, let's see. Tooth Fairy, where is she? Tooth Fairy. It says here. This healing enjoys 30% crit rate, okay? Now, it might just refer to the fact that she has a higher crit. I don't know if you can crit with every healing. Maybe you can. But this is the only character. It doesn't really matter much if you can or not. Maybe you probably can with everybody, but it's easier to do with Tooth Fairy, and she has 30% critical rate based on her heal, plus the baby tooth mechanic that gives another 15% shred, not counting confusion, just counting the passive when you trigger 5 tooths. So that's like 45% chance of critting on the damage, but it's still 30 on her because it's the shred is on the enemy, so it doesn't really matter. This one will give you 45% on amplification 5 on your healing. Now, the base bonus is max HP, which is good. It's universal, but the increments are kind of low. The increments are a little bit low. You get 45% critical chance on the crits. It's good, but if you don't play Tooth Fairy, you don't have Tooth Fairy for whatever reason, right? Then it's not a good option for another healer, right? For like any other healer, they can't use it because the 15% crit rate it's wasted basically, right? You will only get the healing up by 3%, which is nothing compared to other healings, right? So now moving on. So that's why they're orange. Thunderous, for example, it's another sussy one because if you don't have a Lilia, you're missing out on the crit rate because the crit rate is not too high, right? The increments are not too high. It's only 32% critical damage when a one target attack crits. So there is also a condition on. If you do an AoE with Centurion with this on and you crit, you're still not gonna get the crit damage because it says that a one target attack crits has to crit for you to trigger the crit damage. So there is a condition. It's no high. It's an okay increase in increment, and it gives you 10% critical rate. So sure, it's a critical rate, Psychube. So you eventually having it is good, but amplifying it's another concept. Now in today's video we are talking about amplifying. I'm not talking about which Psychube is better. I'm talking about the amplification. With the amplification in mind, you change your perspective on which one has priority to use the Gluttony on, right? Or a copy of the Psychube on. So Brave New World is, in my opinion, one of the best options. Brave New World and his Bounden Duty are the best option when it comes to value that you get from amplifying. Brave New World gives you Incantation Might, has a high percent increment, it's pretty decent increments. We're talking about increase in Incantation Might, so your skill will deal a base of 20, and every time it's +5, which is decent for compared to the other increments you will see. And it also gives you Ultimate Might. At level 60, you're going to get 18% Ultimate Might, 40% Incantation Might and Amp5. And this doesn't have any condition. You just get it. You don't have to do anything to get it. As opposed to Hopscotch, something like Hopscotch that you need to kill 4 times to get the maximum amount of ultimate scaling, which is not even that high, right? For a Psychube that has, but we'll talk about that. Now, Ultimate Mount. Her second life is a very decent one. It's almost top priority, but not really. The only reason being that the increases are pretty good, but you need to mass ult. Not everybody has a mass ult. So if you want to do it with a DPS or with a healer that doesn't do a mass ult, for example, if you want to use with Medicine Pocket, this doesn't work. Medicine Pocket doesn't have a mass ult. Who else is a healer? Balloon Party has a mass ult. This would work on Balloon Party. So keep that in mind. Which healer are you using? Are their ult is mass? Is an AoE? If it's a mass ult, it doesn't matter if it's a healing or mass damage on the enemy. It just has to be an AoE ult. If it's an AoE ult, you heal with a percentage of your attack. And the percentage, in my opinion, is not that high because if you use it on hybrid DPS, you have like around 1-2. You have like 1-2 attack, and then that like 64% is 700. It's decent, but if you're doing on a healer, then a healer has like 1k ish. The 640 is like only when you do the ult. It's a little low because you're gonna start having like a lot of HP. Let's see Melania, how much Melania has. I3 level 25, she has 9k HP, right? So 9k HP, it's 600 or 9k HP when an enemy or like Limbo 6-2 is hitting you for like 1.5k, and you only get this on the ult. and has to be a mass ult. That's why it's yellow. It depends on who you're using it on, and do they have a mass ult, and how much attack do they have. So this one is a kind of a paradox, because the more, if you put it on the DPS, you're gonna heal for more. So if you have a DPS that you want to use this on, and try if you need like some more survivability, sure. But this, like, at the end of the day, is not like a high priority in my opinion. I would actually demote it to orange, to be honest. Demote it to orange because of all the conditions, and the percentage is not that high, and including like thinking about how long it's gonna take to do this. You can only choose one at first. It's gonna feel very painful to choose one, and then you realize it is not that good, right? So in my opinion, at the end of the day, you can do whatever you want. In my opinion, Second Life is not as good, has a top priority. Keep in mind the criteria here before you flame in the comments. Is not, when something is not good, it's not because it's not good, this Psychube, it's because it's not good everything considered. Heal, how much is the heal, what is the condition for the heal, what is the percentage increase with the amplification, how long does it take to get a Gluttony, how long does it take to reach a decent point of amplification. Is amplifying 2 good, is amplifying 3 good enough, or is it 5 good enough? You will reach it after 2 months, 4 months of time spent of like 10 limbos done without the full value. So keep that in mind. The time that it takes you, the type of Psychube, who it's this for. If this was a higher percentage of attack, and it was like Bounden Duty, right, or even less, let's say 100%, right? Now you're healing 1,000. 1,000 is pretty high. So 1,000 healing on a healer when they do the mass ult condition, that would be a little bit better. Maybe it would be a yellow instead of an orange. That's why I demoted it on yellow. So moving on Bounden Duty. And this is why Bounden Duty, in my opinion, is one of the best Psychubes and in general, and one of the best Psychube for prioritization. Now, you are missing a little bit of damage on the effect, because it's not a complete like DPS effect like the others. That's why it's orange on the color coding for DPS or healing. It's like in the middle, because it gives you damage, which is good because it's global damage. It's better than attack. And I think, and I'm not a theory crafter, I think it's better than attack because it's global, while attack just increases your stats, your attack stat, right? Now, Bounden Duty gives you HP attack percentage heal when you kill an enemy. So you kill an enemy with your DPS and you heal a percentage of your attack. Now, this intrinsically means that you are using his Bounden Duty on a DPS. If you're using it on a DPS, because you kind of have to, it doesn't make sense if you use it on someone else, or even a sub DPS, but it still doesn't make sense. This should only go on a DPS, in my opinion. If you have a DPS that has a high damage, let's say Melania at I3, R10, full damage, not crit resonate, damage resonate, plus level 49 leisure, level 25 I3, she has 1.669. Now, let's go there. 1.669. See this? Is Bounden Duty a level 1 will heal you when you kill, which is very easy for you to do, and is not conditioned in the sense that it's you have to kill with your incantation, or you have to kill only with the ult. You have to kill. It doesn't matter who you're killing with. Now, an incantation or the ult, it doesn't matter. Just kill and you heal for 1,000, right? So that's pretty crazy in my opinion, especially for like hard encounters when you need to, there's a lot of damage. And for example, right, current limbo. Current limbo is Forget Me Not. Forget Me Not has a lot of damage going on because the minions are like buffing and attacking. There's a lot of AoE. He also petrifies a random guy. Now, he also heals below 50%. It triggers, like, it sips the wine and it gets like the heal up, and it heals for like 50% of the damage that you gave him, and then he loses 10% after he attacks. So, but it keeps healing, right? If you deal damage, the more damage you deal, the more he heals. He loses a little bit, so eventually he dies. But if you're trying to triple star that, having a healer is funny enough not a good idea, right? You want to go full DPS and do as much damage as possible and try to like support your DPS, your main DPS, or do like some debuffing or some buffing or some like CC if you have like Druvis or Setsuki, right? So a DPS being able to self-heal, right, with Bounden Duty, I think this is one of the best value for amplification in my opinion, because the other Psychubes you can survive without amplification. It's not like the end of the world, but Bounden Duty will make it so it's, I mean, even Bounden Duty, it's still good enough if you put it on a DPS 1000, but look at this. Amplification 5, it's 2k heal. On my Melania, I3 level 25, not 60, level 25, with a 49 Psychube, not even 60 Psychube. So keep that in mind. The more the attack, right? It also gives you damage. That gets up to 12% damage. This is going to be higher, right? Actually, no, that's not going to be higher, but the damage that you deal is going to be higher. Now, if this gave attack, it would be even stronger, but I think damage is fine enough. So in my opinion, this is one of the best choices. Let's move on. I'm stalling too much. But you get the gist of it. You can like think a little more about this by yourself. Hopscotch, nah, I don't like it. It's a low increment. It gives you incantation might, but it has, you need to kill to get ultimate might, and it stacks 4 times. It's 4 and 8, and it gets stacked 4 times, so 14, 32. The increments are 4% for amplification. So the increments are kind of low. The incantation might is kind of low because you could just use Brave New World instead, and you have a condition. This is not as easy as you think to trigger, or especially 4 times, right? Before you do your ult. You need to kill 4 times. What? You need to kill 4 times to get like 16% ultimate. Like the effort needed is not equally rewarded by the percentage, in my opinion. Not even 32 is enough. It should be like 6. This should be literally doubled, and then it would be a yellow one, in my opinion. Because there's a bad condition here. The main problem is the bad condition. You need to kill. The stacks 4 times. Now, this doesn't have a duration, so you eventually will reach it. But on certain fights where you're fighting just one monster, or you're fighting some minions, but there's not 5 minions, just 2, right? If you, let's say you're fighting a boss that has a threshold at below 50% and 25 summons 2 minions, you will still not be getting the full value of these stacks. So using the Gluttony on this, waiting 4 months or 2, still a lot of time, even if 2, to get this to 32, to where it's like okay, and like let's say you on average kill twice before you ult on a fight, because they don't have any more minions on a boss fight, right? 2 minions, right? At that point, you are getting 8% ultimate. It's not insane, right? Think about it. No, you're getting 16%. So 16%. And you almost finish the fight, and 16% ultimate is like nothing if you think about it, for the effort that you had to put in and for the time you had to wait to make it to amplification 5. So this is not a good idea in my opinion. Moving on, Luxurious Leisure. Luxurious Leisure is a decent one. It gives you ultimate might. It has a little bit of a condition. Like after you do your ult, it has to be a one target ult. You get damage global, damage plus 5 stacks 3 times. So you get a 15% just by doing the ult. You can do the ult. I think this has no duration like Hopscotch, but it's easier to trigger because you just have to do the ult. So the more you do the ult, and you can easily do without door. And if you use Leilani, you can easily do ult on turn 2. If you fish for the DPS cards, the 3 DPS cards, you fuse and then you use the other one, you get 4 Moxie. But with the Leilani I1, you will start with 1 Moxie, so you get to 5 at turn 1, you get the ult on turn 2. So you start blasting immediately, and you start stacking on this bonus higher and higher and higher very early, and you can reap the benefits of 3 stacks way earlier than other Psychube. So if you have a character that you like to use that's a high ultimate might, you could use this one. This one is it's a little bit global, universal. Not really, but it is a little bit. It's like a little hybrid, because that's why it's yellow, because you can't use it on many characters, but some characters that would benefit from it the most are can't use it. For example, Lilia can't use it because she has to crit. So I mean, she can use it, but you will be missing a lot by not critting, because her Lilia kit, it revolves around critical, right? So you will be missing extra attacks from the single target attack. You will be missing extra damage from like the crit damage in general. If you play with Tooth Fairy, you're gonna be missing a lot of crit damage. So that said, not every DPS can use it, and that's why it's yellow. Inquisitive Dear. Inquisitive Dear is not a good option in my opinion. Is an increase. Oh, by the way, Luxurious Leisure is 1% increase. It's not too high, but considering the stacks, it stacks a little bit higher because it goes 3 times, right? So it's 3% increase. That's why it's part of why it's yellow. It's not super high, but considering its ult damage, and usually most of the ults are a high percentage, it would be too broken, I feel like. That's why it would deal too much damage, because you also get ultimate might from the bonus. So this will be too strong if they made it higher. So that's why it's like, okay, that's why it's yellow. If you have Melania, Melania is your babe, and it's your main, it's your waifu, then this one is a good option for prioritization, right? Inquisitive Dear, I don't like it, because it's, yeah, you get healing done, sure, but considering that you want to use it realistically on anybody that has a debuff attack, right? So, Medicine Pocket can use it, Sotheby can use it, Tooth Fairy could use it, she has a debuff, Tooth Fairy could use it, but she wants to use Beyond Wonderland instead, in my opinion, for the crit rate. So you have almost 50% chance of critting with your heals, which are pretty big. And so that's why. So the percentage is 6%, and you heal So there's multiple conditions. You have to do a debuff on the enemy, and at the same time, you also don't heal everybody. Just heal a percentage of your attack, which is a healer, which is low attack, and you only heal the HP of the guy that has the lowest HP in the team. So let's say Sotheby has, let's see, my Sotheby is low level, so keep that in mind. I'm gonna have to level her. She's level, let's see, I2 level 28. She has 1.04. Let's say maybe you can get him to like 1.2. Let's say if you want to squish a little bit of damage, let's say 1.2, right? 1.2. And it's at MP5 is 48%. So you are healing 576 when you do a debuff. Am I missing something? Wait 1 second. Am I what? Is that the only? No, Inquisitive Dear. This. Yeah, when you cast, forgot the name there. I wasn't sure, so I wanted to go read. When you cast, you heal. Cast a debuff, you heal. So this one is kind of whatever, in my opinion. Now, this one gives you healing done, though. So that's why none of these are red, because like it could still be used, but the amplification is not worth. Just the amplification is not worth. I'm not talking about the Psychube being shit. I'm just talking about the healing, the value that you get from amplifying it, considering everything that the Psychube is giving you. So, attack percentage on a healer is low. So you heal for low in a place where you have a lot of HP going on. Medicine Pocket has 8k. In a world where Beacon Bloom has 6k, Melania has 9k, right? 500 every time you do a debuff Keep that in mind. It's not high. And if you're doing a debuff, you're not healing. If you're not healing, then they're dying, right? So you are sacrificing and healing AP on your healer to debuff, just to trigger that. So when you are triggering Inquisitive Dear effect, it means that you don't need to heal. And if you don't need to heal, it's a little redundant if you think about it. And if you don't need to heal, then the healing done and the healing that you can do with this effect is irrelevant. Sure, it's not like a dire situation, because this would not be used in like a oh no moment, right? Oh no, I'm dying. You don't do a debuff if you're dying, right? Oh no, I'm dying. Let me do this debuff. If this was higher, then it would be an actual option. It would be actually fun, interesting of a mechanic to debuff to heal, like one that is dying. But this helps a little bit, but it's not a top priority in my opinion. I think you get the gist of what I'm saying. Last of all, Thunderous Applause. Thunderous Applause is mainly just for Lilia, in my opinion, and it's not worth increasing, like amplifying, at least for like before anything else, because it's like low percentage. It gives you some crit rate. Crit rate is low, so Lilia is the only one that it's actually getting the most out of it, because she has double crit rate on the Psychube bonus. So if you give her, if she's I3 and you give her like a crit rate bonus, instead of being 10, it's going to be 20. Now this actually doesn't show before the fight, so I don't know if we have it, because I'm not a theory crafter, so I don't know if it's actually applying or if maybe there is a bug, because it doesn't show. Look, if I go to Lilia, my Lilia is, I just made it high 3 and I have Thunderous, right? I have Thunderous level 40, so I have 12%. 12%, if I go to personal stats, it's not added here. This is the 47 comes from the resonate. Critical rate, this is just her critical rate. If I remove this, it was 47 plus, remember the stats, 47 plus 17. If I remove this and I give her Inquisitive Dear, gives healing done, it's oh, okay. Still, what I want to say is 35. It still applies. Still applies. I got confused. It still applies. It's not what I wanted to say. It counts, but it doesn't count the double. So see 35. I'm keeping it in. I don't want to edit it out. Fuck it. Well, you can laugh. Now, 12%. It was 35 plus 12%. 47. She is I3. When is this applying? When is a critical rate bonus applying? I don't know. Plus 100%. Psychube's basic critical rate bonus plus 100%. This is a base. This is not an effect. This is a base. So, hello? They don't give you critical technique. So it's not like, oh, it's critical technique. It doesn't give you critical technique. So what is it? But this is a mystery that is not in this video. Like we don't have to talk about that. So there is a little concern, in my opinion, when it comes to is she getting it? Is she getting it? I think she is, because after I got it to the I3, she was critting way more than 65%, 64%. I think she was critting a little bit more. Was critting maybe like 70%, say 80% ish. Yeah, I can see that, but at the same time, like I keep that in mind. So overall, I also have the stats here. If you want to check, if you want to like pause the video and check like the stats here and like have an understanding. As you can see here, Bounden Duty has the highest attack among all of them. So you're gonna get a lot of attack bonuses from Bounden Duty. You're gonna get a higher attack, and this is gonna help you have a heal for even more, right? It has a little less HP. But you're missing a little bit of HP, but not too much. It's only 200. You're healing for 2k. I think that's kind of worth. A second life, even though it gives you damage bonus, second life, even though it gives you attack, not damage bonus, it gives you attack, you still have a little low attack, in my opinion. Thunderous is like the worst attack possible. And that's why you kind of want to put it on Lilia, because she can double the crit and make use of it. Otherwise, other characters are going to lose a little bit of damage. So, Luxurious Leisure is like very, very strong. Hopscotch is okay, but the The problem is the condition. Brave New World is overall good. I would say, like, if you don't like Bounden Duty and if you want to go full damage, Brave New World is global universal best. That's why it's one of the green. And Blasphemer is really good, but only works mainly on Changeling for now. It's easy, at least it's easier to trigger on Changeling. The others are like, okay. Now, I don't think there's anything else to say. Let me know if you have anything else to add from this. If you have like, oh, you forgot this, you got that. Let me know in the comments. If you like the video, leave a like. If you want to follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Jakazin, feel free to go there, join, like, leave a follow or something if you like my content, and we can chill together when I'm live. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.